Welcome to the market update for August 26, 2021. This is also day three of me making videos every day until I run out of time or until I run out of things to talk about. So if you have anything you want to see, feel free to comment or send me an email. So it's nice that I'm actually off to be able to do all these videos. I will finally get to catch up on everything that I wanted to talk about. So, first off, we got the Bushiroad Global Online Store follow it and retweet campaign. Again, three winners will receive this playmat over here. Main thing to watch out for is it actually ends tonight. So, if you do not enter this is your own fault because this playmat looks awesome. And as of right now, there's only 530 people that have entered. You have a fairly decent chance at a playmat that you may never be able to get. Next thing I want to talk about is this message here. So we knew something like this was going to come along eventually, and it finally did. We have some product delays. Again, this is due to COVID, and they are seeking your understanding as part of this. Again, people need to stay safe. There are restrictions in countries where people can't go out to buy things, where people can't go to work. So I will say one thing. Again, it still blows my mind here that some people can't understand that. I just don't get it. Not every country is the same, right? Like how the current status of, let's say, the situation is. So again, remember, just keep in mind these are actual cards, right? Things that you don't need to live with. That if it comes a few weeks later, it shouldn't be all that big of a deal. Plus side is you have all of this stuff right here to play with, right? Like you don't need card products every month, which is what is actually happening. And so you could tell there's an actual problem here because we have Slime 2 being pushed back to October 8th, right? What happened in here is the September release isn't going to happen. And again, that just points to that main issue that they think that they can get back to producing actual cards for us. So there's going to be this gap of time. Right now is August 26th, like I said. So, these restrictions, these production issues are seen in this actual schedule. It makes sense to me. So please keep in mind that and be respectful of people as they are trying to survive all of this, right? So Slime 2 pushback, SAO pushback, all of it. Here it is. There's not really much to say. You can see it all here. So the hard part about all this, the craziness about it is you see it's pretty aggressive that they want to stay basically to some sort of a timeline where they don't want to push, let's say, this to November and then this one December and this one January, this one February. They're not doing that. They're actually trying to cram these things in the same month, two per month. And I don't know how that's going to turn out. So more than likely to me, again, is there's going to be more pushback. What's missing from this right here is it talks about the quints, but it doesn't talk about Data Bullet or RWBY. From the product page, we have Data Bullet 12.3, we have RWBY 12.17. Could that be pushed back? I think so. Just because of everything that's happening, it's too early to figure out what's going to happen overseas. But now that I say that, we got a picture for RWBY. So this is the one that was posted on Facebook. It came like last week, and now it finally showed up on this page. And the awesome part about this is, again, RWBY English exclusive. There is always supply sets with English exclusives. Normally you get a deck box. You get 5 booster packs and you get sleeves. The nice part about this one is they threw in PR cards. Each set will contain one random type of 4 of foil PR cards. So that kind of sucks. It'd be nice if you get one of each. Because again, I don't know if I want to go and buy 4 supply sets. And even then, if you buy 4 of these things, are you guaranteed to get one of each? And as you can see here, right now, these are just your template of what the card looks like. There's no actual numbers or anything on it. So we don't know if this is going to be usable I would say, in the actual game yet. If this is just your normal PR card, then maybe you don't need them or whatnot. And this begs the question again of what are you actually going to do for supply sets, right? Like we had Data Bullet over here with the surprise set. Data Bullet had the surprise set, and where'd it go? Where'd it go? I th- there was. I thought there was a picture. Maybe there wasn't. There is a PR card that comes inside of this. It's this card. There was a PR card that comes in here, and it's the same PR card. So if you just buy 4 of these things, you're gonna get it. However, RWBY though, there are 4 different ones. So that's what I mean. I don't know what the game plan is for me yet on this whole RWBY 4 different PR cards. Because I can tell you, I don't want 4 deck boxes. I mean, truthfully, if there's enough cards to build a deck of each one of them, then yeah, maybe you could have a deck box for each girl. That would work. Okay, let's see. So now that we've talked about that, we're going on to Heaven's Feel 2. Heaven's Feel 2, been an interesting ride. I just did that video about like the comprehensive discussion on it. And if we take a look here, not much has changed. I've been watching this the lat today, 2 days ago, and when it first came out, and the pre-orders that led to it. Minus 22% down. Not too bad. Overall, what we got here is your playset, which consists of all this. So you can see everything here. The playset consists of double rares, rares, uncommons, commons, climax, rares, climax, commons, and potentially, well, in this column it is promos. So $272.42 is what's going to cost you. Again, at this price, it's a decent buy to pick up the playset. But we always know that the price drops down a little bit. If you have the piece amount on TCG Player, it's a pain in the butt. You may have to pay taxes, you may have to pay shipping, and you got to deal with potentially a couple people. Where if you just buy playset, it might be worth the money to do that on this set, if you actually wanted the playset. Without promos, it's $265. You're just looking for rares and double rares, $218. So there you are. There's not really much to say outside of what I already said for Fate Stay Night. So the hard part when it comes to these things is you need people to actually buy it. So one of the problems is our sign cards. There's not a whole lot of buying on them. There's 2 sales here. What do we got for Rider? Rider was like the actual release date, and let's go with Shiro too. So it's pretty weak, I think, when it comes to this did I say sign card? Not sign cards, the SP cards. There we go. The SP cards are kind of weak, and that's really it. 7 Deadly Sins. 7 Deadly Sins. There's a reason why I'm wearing this shirt today. So 7 Deadly Sins continues its path on downward, and that was to be expected with the gigantic amount of supply that we got, right? So there was a ton of people that bought into it, thinking that this is going to be really, really good from a signed card aspect from new players or new collectors. If you loved 7 Deadly Sins, you would love to, you would want to pick up these cards, right? It's something you don't need to play with. It's something that you can have. I saw someone on Facebook buying it for their kid. That's pretty awesome, right? So again, they might not play this game, but they want to have the cards. And if we take a look here, it's going down. Playsets aren't worth like what they really should be. I didn't change this number, but let's take a look. I did. Playset 238 is what I come out to be if you get everything. And again, I didn't mess with these numbers. There is one thing I really, really wanted to talk about with the 7 Deadly Sins. And again, that's why I said I'm wearing this shirt. The reason why I'm wearing this shirt is because of this. In my notes section is 9 sellers on booster boxes gone and 4 case sellers gone. So Alpha Investments made a video on August 22. It's called Congratulations to the Underdogs. It is right here. So if you don't know, if you're not a person that watches Rudy, if you haven't seen his videos, the one thing he tends to do for the people that actually watch the whole thing, he throws in a nugget. He throws in a little nugget at the very end of the video. And that nugget in the past year has led to buyouts of certain products after, when people watch this video. That's happened on even Flesh and Blood, right? That happened on MetaZoo. After people saw his MetaZoo, they started buying the first editions that were out there on the company website. So there are a lot of things that happened. And if you watch this clip at 12:01 right here, if you watch it, you will find out that he told people about Seven Deadly Sins being cheap. So Seven Deadly Sins booster boxes were like $59, $60 at that time. And when you take a look here, so again, I love TCG Player for putting this price history. You got 815, 816. So 816 is here, right? We got 5 lines. 817, 4 lines. 818, 4 lines. 19, 3 lines. 4 lines here. So, okay, now we're at 822. And again, there's no timestamp. I don't know if this was like 5 in the morning or 5 p.m. But as you can see here, on 822, I have to like scroll further. This right here all is 822, which again is not coincidental because Rudy brought it up in that video. And then you have 823. So basically what people ended up getting was a bailout. I'm going to call this the Great Rudy Bailout of Seven Deadly Sins because yeah, there was a lot of supply. There was probably a lot of people sitting there thinking, how am I going to get rid of these boxes? And this video is the catalyst for what took place on TCG Player for Seven Deadly Sins. Right? That didn't stop there with the booster boxes. It happened with the cases as well. We had 4, like I said, 4 sellers, case sellers disappear because of it. So August 22nd, there you go. 4 sales on August 22nd, and that would be amounting to 6 cases. August 23rd, August 24th, 1 case, 1 case. So as you can see, Rudy definitely bailed out a bunch of people that had no hope of actually selling these in a short time period. So it was, I call it a bailout because it's like this isn't always going to happen. I think when people start realizing again how Weiss actually works, you could potentially be in it for the long haul when you didn't intend to be in it for the long haul. I would definitely advise some caution if you're going to try to flip these things in the short term. It's not worth it, and you're not always going to have somebody that's going to tell people to go buy it, because even though we had that happen to Seven Deadly Sins, the booster boxes and cases, if I take a look here, the trial deck didn't really get that same boost, right? There's no trial deck boost because of that. If we take a look at Fate Stay Night, again, Fate Stay Night wasn't in the 50s to 60s. It was in I would say end of the 60s and 70s. You did have some here that were there, but it's not enough. There wasn't enough supply to say that. And right here, you can't even see if there's shipping, which there should have been shipping because they're all trending around the 70 mark. So you didn't have that boost to the other series. It was just people hearing Seven Deadly Sins and the price it was and buying it up. So it didn't go across the board. Okay, so big one with that one. Double rare is still hurting. But booster boxes, booster cases, you got lucky. You got real lucky if you're one of those people in that situation. All right, now we got Kaguya. Kaguya is Kaguya. There's not really much to say. We're getting to the point where I would say Kaguya is definitely mature, where it's not really moving much. You could see here, weekly overall change, and there was some time in between here because I was working nonstop. So 1% change in between it. This thing isn't changing all that much. Supply is starting to slowly disappear. So 21, 18, 17. And the reason why I say supply is starting to slowly disappear again is when you think about these cards, you have to consider, is someone going to open the actual booster box? There's a point where these boxes aren't worth to open, right? And again, this comes into play when you consider the SPs in there. We know at this point, if you were to attempt to open this box right here, with the prices, the double rares, the way they are, you're not going to be making your money back purely on double rares, rares, shiny foils, unless you pull an SP, right? You're not going to be making your money back. So what that means is the amount of playable cards out there, the supply, it's pretty much what it's going to be unless someone's sitting on a huge amount of them and hasn't put it up yet for sale. So this is what we're looking at here. It's not it's a mature product. It's a very good product, and at the same time, booster boxes 84.40. It's not like they sell a ton of them, but you could see August 3rd, 23rd, 6 boxes sold. August 22nd, what is this? Another 6 sold. So it's slowly starting to dwindle down the amount of boxes that are out there, which is what I fully expected to happen since Kaguya is an actual really good set. And as you can see here, double rares 193, so pretty nice. It's a pretty nice number when you take a look at the other ones, right? So Heaven's Feel is already 175, Kaguya 193. So pretty good. Lastly, I want to talk about Beaufree. Beaufree is one of those ones that it's over. I'm done watching Beaufree. Beaufree is completely done. And what I mean by that is what I was saying earlier about supply. We know here that Beaufree, let me get it. There are so many boxes left in the world, and the boxes are $130. So again, what I said before, like it got to the point where there was one guy left, and that one guy was selling it for $269. And once that happened, people see that, they look into their drawers or closets or in the back of their store and say, okay, time to pull it out because it's worth a lot of money. So that's what ended up happening. August 22nd, not coincidentally, since Rudy also mentioned Beaufree in there as well. Some of these got bought up. Actually, a lot. What was this? At 130. 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 9, 11. 11 boxes got bought on August 22nd alone. That's nuts. But anyways, there's more of this stuff that people have. But going from what Beaufree was, what it started out to be, what you could have bought it at, like $60 to $130, it's pretty crazy. But at $130, is anybody going to be opening these for these double rares? Probably not. More than likely, you're going to open it for fun, or you're looking for sign cards, right? This one has sign cards. You're going to be looking for sign cards. And what I am seeing here is you only have 2 of these multicolor Sallies left. Listers anyways. The one lister guy has 8, right? It has 8. So you're getting to the point where these playable double rares like multicolored Sally, Kanade is down to 8, is down to 2, Maple 18. Oh, we got Saint Misery 4. I don't know what the deal with that was. This thing was been gyrating up and down of supply. I think it got as high as $5. It's pretty nuts. From where it was like $2.38, right? And then it went to $5. So yeah, you're not going to have a chance to pick some of this stuff up anymore just because the booster boxes. Speaking of the SPs too, if you didn't pick those up either, your chance is running out. So again, these first 2 right here are your TD ones, and that's what I always said about Beaufree is like one of those ones where these TD SPs are pretty expensive. And when you take a look at this, there is 3 listings left of an actual display, and there is 9. They have 9 here, so there's only so much of this stuff left trial deck wise, and SPs seem to be disappearing as well. Like if you take a look, where's my screen? There it is. So multicolored Sally is gone. Machine Gun Maple 1200. What? What is that? 816 400. It's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, it's not a joke. I know that they put it up 1200. No one's gonna be buying this thing for 1200. That's just realism right there. What else we got? Yeah, so as you can see, some of the supply is dropping off on certain SPs. So it's not going to be too much longer. So Beaufry for me is basically retired. It was a really good set. All considering, if you take a play set of this, it held up its value. It was one of those ones that for whatever reason people totally forgot about. I know again that there was people looking in the data live and the thought was that this wasn't a very good set. For me personally, I said I'm buying a bunch of this because it looked like a fun play and the anime is great and it had beautiful sign cards. So it was 100% a win for me. All right, I got a few minutes left. So Data Live, Data Live, Data Live. Data Live, same story. Reprint hurt it super bad. From where I started watching it May 3rd to August 24, 78% down. Thank you, Reprint. So people that wanted playable cards, a playable set, here it is. It's really cheap. So you got your wish. So double rares at this point, a playset of double rares, $120. There you go, $120. Terrible Spirit Kirby. That was crazy. This thing was in the 40s all the way down. And again, you could see that right here. This is including the shipping. Back then it was $10.55. Now it's 5 cents cheaper. So really good set. Data Bolt's coming out. I expect some kind of price uptick because of Data Bullet. I did see a case on Facebook though. If you're looking for a case 850, it's going for 850. Not so bad because again, if you take a look on TCG Player, 1159. So that's my advice to you. And for sign card wise, they continue to keep dropping. Makes sense because this just proves again that there's not just one guy out there that's going to buy, let's say, 16 of these dignified appearance tokas, right? No one's trying to corner the market on sign cards, depending on what the card is, right? Like there's a lot of hype into some of these SP cards and SECs, like this one here, right? Remember back in the day, this is like $2,000, $3,000 that people are trying to get at it. Reprint happens, bam. People are trying to attempt to sell this. We know on Facebook it went for $669. So at this price, not even close. You're not remotely selling this thing for $11.50 at this point. Maybe with Data Bullet, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe Data Bullet will push it back to 800. Who knows? But at this point, $669 is the number. I think if you threw it up here for $750, you might get someone to buy it. Who knows? But there we are. So Data Live cases 4 left over here. And the booster boxes, just so you know, again, like what I've said before, people have been steadily buying them. You could see it. So the supply does continue to drop a little bit every time. And just so you could see, that August 22nd thing didn't happen. Right here. August 22nd didn't affect Data Live at all. The main thing with Data Live, one last thing about Data Live is, if you haven't done so, I've been saying this week after week after week, trial decks didn't get a reprint. Confrontation with Humans Toka was very important into any deck that you're going to make. At this point, as you can see here, this thing is $30 and there is 10 cards left. Would I suggest you buy that? No. No, if you need that card, I would tell you to step over here into trial deck land. Because again, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? One card, $60. When you could buy a trial deck, more than likely you're not going to get a foil out of there. Maybe you will, who knows? But you get 2 of them inside of this trial deck. So right there you save $10. you get 48 other cards and a possibility of getting a shiny card. But again, there's only so much of this left, right? We got 8 sellers. Well, not sellers, 2 sellers with 8 overall, 8 product overall, right? So if you need that card, buy the trial deck. Trial deck displays are too expensive, so I wouldn't buy that. But there you go. So buy that up if you need it. And with that, I need to go. It's time for the movies. So hopefully you all have a wonderful, what day is it? Thursday. I don't want to go back to work. It's been nice. It's been nice having all these days off. So I didn't have to think about work at all. I'm going to continue playing the lottery and hopefully I don't have to work.